Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're tackling something universal, something we all struggle with at some point, staying motivated when life gets tough. Not the superficial, feel-good motivation that comes from watching inspirational videos, though those have their place. I'm talking about the deep, sustainable motivation that carries you through your darkest moments, when you're tired, when you've failed repeatedly, when no one's watching, and when it would be so much easier to just give up. By the end of this video, you'll understand why traditional motivation fails us in tough times, and you'll have a practical framework for building resilience that lasts, not just for days or weeks, but for life. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Motivation is not reliable. It's not designed to be. Most people think motivation works like this. Feel motivated, take action, get results, feel more motivated. But this cycle breaks the moment life gets difficult. When you face resistance, when progress slows, when results aren't immediate, motivation evaporates. That's because motivation is an emotion, and like all emotions, it fluctuates. It's influenced by your sleep, diet, stress levels, and countless external factors beyond your control. The 95% people who fail to achieve their goals are waiting for motivation to strike like lightning, not realizing that motivation is more like a campfire. Something you have to deliberately build and consistently maintain. The secret isn't finding some magical source of endless motivation. The secret is building a system that carries you forward, even when motivation isn't present. As author James Clear puts it, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Let's break down the four-part framework that the most resilient people use to stay motivated through life's inevitable challenges. First, purpose beyond progress. When your only source of motivation is visible progress, you're setting yourself up for failure. Progress is rarely linear. Instead, anchor your motivation to a deeper purpose, a why that transcends temporary setbacks. Look at Viktor Frankl, who survived Nazi concentration camps by finding meaning in his suffering. Or J.K. Rowling, who battled depression while writing Harry Potter, driven by a story she felt compelled to tell regardless of success. Your purpose doesn't have to be world-changing. It just needs to matter deeply to you. Ask yourself, if I knew I would face obstacles and setbacks, why would this still be worth pursuing? Second, identity-based commitments. Most people make outcome-based commitments. I want to lose 30 pounds, or I want to make 6 figures. The problem? When the outcome seems distant or impossible, motivation crumbles. Instead, make identity-based commitments. I am someone who takes care of their health, or I am the kind of person who creates value for others. When action is tied to your identity, motivation becomes less relevant. You act because that's who you are, not because you feel like it. Third, environment engineering. Your environment will always win against willpower. The most resilient people don't have more willpower. They strategically design environments that make their desired behaviors easier and competing behaviors harder. Want to exercise more? Sleep in your workout clothes and place your shoes by the bed. Want to avoid distractions? Use website blockers and place your phone in another room. By reducing friction for positive actions and increasing friction for negative ones, you conserve precious motivational energy. Fourth, micro-progress recognition. The brain responds powerfully to wins, no matter how small. Break large goals into the smallest possible units of progress, then celebrate these micro-wins systematically. Don't focus on writing a book, focus on writing a paragraph. Don't focus on building a business, focus on helping one customer. By shrinking the scale, you create regular dopamine hits that fuel continued action. Now, let's talk about specific techniques for those moments when motivation hits rock bottom. Your emergency toolkit for the toughest days. The 5-minute rule. When everything in you resists starting, commit to just 5 minutes of action. Tell yourself you can stop after that if you still don't want to continue. This overcomes the initial activation energy that prevents most action. Remarkably, once you've started, you'll often continue beyond those 5 minutes. The motivation audit. In moments of low motivation, conduct a quick self-assessment. Are you physically depleted, hungry, tired, dehydrated? Are you emotionally drained? Are you lacking clarity? Different motivation killers require different solutions. Sometimes the answer isn't pushing harder, but resting strategically. The contrast method. Vividly imagine two futures, one where you've abandoned your goal and one where you've persisted despite difficulties. Experience the emotions of both scenarios. This creates psychological distance from current struggles and reconnects you with long-term vision. Motivation anchors. Identify specific songs, videos, quotes, or rituals that reliably spark your motivation. Use these sparingly and strategically, only in true motivation emergencies to maintain their effectiveness. Social accountability. When your internal motivation fails, external accountability can bridge the gap. Tell someone specific what you're going to do and by when. The psychological cost of letting others down can provide temporary motivation until your internal drive recovers. Remember, these are emergency tools, not long-term solutions. The goal isn't to need these tools less often. It's to build the resilience framework that makes these emergencies increasingly rare. Long-term motivation isn't about intensity. It's about sustainability. It's about building recovery into your process. The most resilient people aren't going full throttle all the time. They're strategically alternating between periods of focused effort and deliberate recovery. Incorporate these sustainability practices into your approach. Scheduled rest. Plan recovery periods before you need them. In your weekly schedule, include specific times for complete disconnection from your goals. This prevents burnout and allows motivation to naturally regenerate. Progress documentation. Keep a visible record of your journey, not just achievements, but lessons from failures, obstacles overcome, and growth experienced. On low motivation days, review this documentation to remind yourself how far you've come. Identity evolution. Regularly update how you see yourself based on challenges you've already conquered. I am someone who persists through difficulty, becomes more believable with each obstacle you overcome. This creates an upward spiral of increasing resilience. Motivation maintenance. Just as you wouldn't wait until your car breaks down to change the oil, don't wait for motivation to disappear before addressing it. Build daily practices that preserve your motivational reserves. Adequate sleep, supportive relationships, moments of joy, and connection to your deeper purpose. The secret to staying motivated when life gets tough isn't about finding endless inspiration or eliminating obstacles. It's about building a system that carries you through inevitable low periods and gradually increases your capacity for resilience. Motivation isn't something you have or don't have. It's something you practice, protect, and deliberately cultivate over time. Remember, everyone, absolutely everyone, faces periods of low motivation. What separates those who achieve their deepest goals from those who abandon them isn't talent or luck. It's the ability to keep moving forward, even when the feeling of motivation is nowhere to be found. Which part of the resilience framework will you implement this week? Comment below, and let's support each other through the journey. Subscribe for more practical strategies on becoming your strongest self. And remember, the obstacle is the way.